There's an old saying out there, you can't manage what you don't measure, which is one of our key decisions in pursuing a system that can help us reduce our energy consumption. And on that journey to net zero, we came up with ClearVUE.
Capital reinforcing is based on the Wirral and Merseyside, and we specialise in fabrication of high quality steel reinforcing products and services for the construction industry. We're actually capable of producing around 6,500 tonnes of cut and bent steel reinforcing bars per month. Having these facilities has allowed us to be involved in some of the biggest construction projects in the UK, such as the HS2 railway, the Mersey Gateway Bridge, and of course Drax Power biomass domes over in Salisbury. Our commitment to sustainability and innovation is evident in our production processes, and our dedication to reducing our carbon footprint is foremost.
The planet isn't infinite with its resources, and we're in a climate emergency. We collectively all have responsibility to take action. Here at Capital Reinforcing, we are passionate about this, and we want to be leaders in the path to net zero within our industry. Capital Reinforcing currently hold a recognised sustainability accreditation and BES 6001 for responsible sourcing of construction materials, which is namely our core product of steel reinforcement. These accreditations provide a perfect framework for helping us achieve our sustainability goals. We realised as a company quite early on that sustainability was fundamental to business success. There obviously was a combination of industry requirements and our own ambitions with regards to sustainability. Reducing energy consumption saves money and also lowers our carbon footprint. Also, the construction industry has evolved, I'd say, significantly over the last 10 years, with a focus on carbon content becoming more prevalent. Customers are not focusing on price as a number one priority. They're also asking for carbon figures for the product we supply. And we need to be able to provide those answers and also understand what our carbon emissions are and what we contribute to the environment as a business so that we can lower that. Our journey in sustainability began in 2015, but now it's a part of every decision the company makes.
We had some discussions a few years ago about the business getting ready for net zero. We knew we needed some system or software that allowed us to measure our carbon footprint. So we came across ClearVUE. You know, we had the first few demonstrations. We knew straight away that that's the right kind of software for us.
The guarantees on energy savings were just too good to overlook, and we signed up. Not only were we getting the software, but we got energy management for collecting carbon data across all scopes. Before we had ClearVUE system installed, we could only see how much total energy we were using. Of course, we had a fair idea of what buildings and circuits were consuming the most energy, but we didn't know much more than that. It doesn't just tell us how much electricity we're using overall, it shows us the consumption of specific equipment in our business premises and allows us to identify ways to reduce our energy costs, which in turn reduces our carbon footprint and aligns with our sustainability objectives. The ClearVUE platform also grants you the ability to accurately calculate and report on your total carbon footprint, auditing the business's scopes 1, 2 and 3 carbon emissions through an easy to use and powerful data platform.
After the installation of ClearVUE, we could obviously clearly identify waste. At times when the business wasn't operating, machinery being left on, lights being left on, you know, became evident from the software that there was waste going on. So something had to change. So we give the roles to some of our key staff of energy champions, you know, ensuring that they check around the various parts of the site at the end of the shift, getting the message across the operators that it's just not okay just to leave machines on. You know, that's one of the key drivers, is making sure the message was getting home. We have now checks in place that we didn't previously, and the operators are now aware that they have to make sure those machines are shut down. There is people in place now to check that, and of course what that's doing is saving the company money and wasted energy, you know, which we have identified through the ClearVUE system. As part of our wider sustainability objectives, we can monitor our energy consumption against previous weeks and months. With the production of our own energy via the solar panels and reducing our waste, we can steadily see improvements on our energy consumption, but without the ClearVUE software helping us to identify the waste, we couldn't really truly implement those sustainability initiatives. It's obviously going to make a real big difference to the business going forward. We hope ultimately that we'll have the data to provide a live carbon consumption report at a click of a button. This is something that we're being asked to provide to our customers, but rather than taking an annual view of our CO2 in a previous period, we'd like to have something that is a continuous live report that can be given to our customers at any time they ask. ClearVUE has this capability, and one of the long-term strategies is to have all Scope 3 emissions feed into that system. To date, we've just focused on reducing energy waste, energy consumption within Scope 2, but that's the next part of our journey, is to get to the Scope 3 level.
ClearVUE gives us the data to take action on our energy consumption in line with our sustainability goals. It provides us with the tools to be able to see exactly what's going on instead of just receiving and then paying an energy bill at the end of the month. We're able to take meaningful steps which we can actually observe having a positive impact.
ClearVUE's given us a better understanding of how the business really operates. We now have the tools to see what energy each piece of machinery is using and equate that to an actual cost for each process. But ultimately, ClearVUE's showing us the business where it's wasting energy, identifying processes that are running, especially in periods when the company's not producing customer orders. We now have processes in place to make sure those operations are shut down when the company is not in operation, which is saving the company thousands of pounds every year. We still have a bit of work to do to get to the ultimate goal of net zero. These things can take time, but understanding the company's use of its products and ultimately the carbon content of those products in our day-to-day production, everything that we consume as a business, but without ClearVUE, that would be an impossible task for a business of our size.